and then go to Karnak and see where the Romans copied the design for the Colosseum. And then you can go to Washington, D.C. and see how they copy that. Not only that, the National Memorial, Washington Memorial in Washington, D.C. is nothing but a major penis. Yes? When you go to Egypt, you will find that that is a copy of the obelisk. And the obelisk is based upon a part of the mythological story of the murder of Osiris by his brother Set-Typhon. See, don't even know that. You tell me that Adam and Cain killed Abel the first time a man ever killed another one, killed his brother. Nonsense. Thousands of years before that story, the African had a story of Osiris being killed by his brother Set-Typhon. His nephew Heru revenged the killing of his uncle and his father, and killed his uncle Set-Typhon. That is the reason that you see on your dollar bill the ever-seeing eye of Horus. In the war against his father, he lost his left eye. You call it the evil eye. It had nothing to do with evil eye. And you see it on the, embossed on the pyramid with the sunburst, God Ra, the symbol of God Ra around it. But you never ask. You see it on American dollar. America has no pyramids. Huh? But you never ask, where did this come from? George Washington and others who were Masons adopted these symbols from Egypt. The only one in the cabinet who was not a Mason in Washington cabinet was Benjamin Franklin, because he was a Quaker. And there was an African in the cabinet, don't forget. A man born in a place called Nevis. His mother was an African, his father was an Englishman. I know you wasn't in. You go up on the hill at 151st Street. Just below Convent Avenue, it's called Hamilton Grace. That's the answer. Alexander Hamilton was born in Nevis in the West Indies of an African mother and an English father. Grew up in St. Croix in the Children home, the home where the white fathers used to send the rich white plantation owners used to send their children with black women to be educated because they didn't want to keep them with their wives, their white wives. They were called Bokras, the Bokra. So we have to know our history and know it well in order to regain our dignity. One of the things that we are doing, we are asking European America to teach us African history. You're crazy. You got to do that yourself. American education have never failed. It have never been better. It is the best education in America. It was designed for Europeans when it started, and it's still designed for Europeans. This school, Cornell University, where I retired, Harvard, is designed for Europeans, not for Africans, in spite of the fact that each and every institution in Europe is based upon an African university. It was the University of Gene, D-J-E-N-N-E, in ancient Ghana, that was the model for the University of Salamanca, the first university in all of Europe built by the Moors. It was the Moors under Tariq who went in to Spain, took over a place called Munscal. His men changed the name to Gibraltaric, which they now call Gibraltar, and carried the first Renaissance into Europe. Even today, the patron saint of Germany is still Maurice Aragon, a Nigerian, originally from Nigeria. Cletus Bactria and all of them gave Greece the concept of sword fighting. But All of this, nothing of it. Take your History 101. Take your textbooks that you're studying. Have you seen any of this there? Take your textbooks and ask. In there, you're going to the moon. You with all the apparatus. Could you go to the moon without the basic mathematics? No, you can't. Most of you are women and involved with the struggle that's going on now about birth control and right to life and all this kind of stuff. Of course, people who want right to life, they don't want the baby to die now, that the mother to abort the child. But all those people who are for right to life, they're also for capital punishment. They said, let the child born now, and we'll kill him later. You see, I like to tell it, I don't care where I am, and the truth is the truth. But then, we as a people never had to worry about it, because the Ebers Papyrus talks about Planned Parenthood, that the African woman, even during the time of Hatshepsut, that's 1550 BC, queen, the only woman who ruled as a king and a queen simultaneously. Don't get her wrong, she was not a lesbian. She had 2 children and enjoys the sex act. She had her scientists to make a suppository to stop pregnancy. It's called Ebers Papyrus. It calls for the shrub of acacia with honey, which break down into lactic acid that trap the sperms. Park Davis, Monsanto, and a number of Western pharmaceutical companies, they go around the world, found this formula. Check it out, and that's how you got autogenal jelly, which is used in diaphragm today to trap the sperms. But are they blasting it on the radio saying where they got it from? Huh? You hear about Jonas Salk, what he did, but do you hear anything about Charles Drew? You hear about heart transplant, but do you hear anything about the brother there that performed the first open heart surgery in his office? A doctor, excuse me, this one, from Chicago, but I will come back and I'll get the name for you. None of it, none of it. You got the electric light. And when you come in and you pull a switch, it was years and years and years that they dealt with the truth of who created the filament. The man that makes the bulb, that's nothing. It is the filament that makes the light. Latimer. They didn't give any credit to Latimer, who worked in the office for Thomas Edison. No more than they give credit to Granville T. But General Motors Company existed for over 20 years using the patents of Granville T. Woods. Never given a dime to his estate. They had to go to the federal court before General Motors started paying the proper dividend for pilfering, stealing the patent of Granville T. Woods and using them. We could go on with Sayers and Roebuck. And many of you have bought many shoes and different things from Sayers and Roebuck and National Bella Hess and so forth, and had no concept that one of the partners was an African. That started Sayers and Roebuck. Now, there's a new thing. I just laughed like hell the other day. And they said that Ben Ward, for the second time, is going to make an apology to the Latin community. Why? Why did Ben Ward have to make an apology? Because Ben Ward doesn't know. He's making an apology to me. My mother's a Puerto Rican. My mother's from Fajardo. Son Caridoro, son ella. Huh? Then is he making... You see, that's another thing, because you call yourself so many crazy names that you don't know what. The other day I was saying, I saw a Latino and a Puerto Rican and a black man and an African American going down the street. What the hell are you talking about? You're mixing up the color. You see, if you said, I saw an African American, a Puerto Rican, a Jamaican, that's right, because you're talking about people identified by land. But if you say, I saw a Latino, that's a linguistic term. Latin, a person with Latin background, linguistic term. And one was black. You were using color one place, language the next place, and land. People are identified by land. An African is from Africa. You know, if I said, when the first, if you see a rabbit, female rabbit, of course, climb into an oven, cool oven. The next day you see the rabbit come out, and the little ones look like the rabbit. You don't have it. Mama, the rabbit got biscuit because it's coming out the oven. She got rabbits. When you see an African woman come to the United States and she get young ones, she don't get Negroes and jigaboos and chigaboos. She get Africans. And these are the things that some of you are scared, if you're from Puerto Rico, you're scared to wear loud colors because Europeans don't wear loud colors. You don't want to eat cuchifrito